All right. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the ONG Strike Zone. I'm Bryan Fulford. That's Kelvin Rozier, recording from our home studios. And Kelvin, I will go ahead and admit today we'll see how much and how well mobile hotspot holds up tonight, as Spectrum has really done a job on me today, or I should say last night. Right in the middle of me watching Ironheart last night, right in the middle of it, they decided to do something regarding my internet and cable. So I've just been running around trying to get it fixed. And so I'm working off hotspot tonight. So fingers crossed that I can make it through this entire show.
So let me ask this question first. Have you seen all the episodes thus far of Ironheart?
I did. I finally finished all 6 episodes, finished 5 and 6 today.
Sounds interesting. I hadn't watched any of them yet. So what's your synopsis?
The one thing that I discovered is that this series was actually produced maybe a couple of years ago. Like for some reason it was delayed in airing, being released. And so there is some things towards the end of episode 6 that are kind of out of place. And given some changes that they've decided to make in terms of the Marvel universe, I don't know what it means, but it's an interesting character. Riri Williams is an interesting character, and if you didn't know that she was part of the Wakanda Forever, the sequel to Black Panther, then that's who she is, and so she's a character from out of that, and so I don't know. I think it's worth the 6 episodes. Actually, what's amazing, Kelvin, is that the episodes run almost about an hour in length, and really, I mean, it felt longer than an hour at some point. I felt like I was watching 6 mini movies. So, right. I think Ryan Coogler is one of the executive producers in this. So, from a visual, technical storytelling, I like it. I definitely think it's worth a watch. It's a good summer watch.
All right, I put
especially
it on my
this 4th of July weekend.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'll take your word for it.
Definitely. So, want to say hello to everybody joining us for the first show in the month of July. Hello, and wherever and however you're watching us. Those of you watching us on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page at MyJBN Online, or the ONG Strike Zone YouTube page, our Facebook page. You might even have caught the stream running on Twitter via the Black College Sports Network. Still don't know if I have Instagram Live yet, so I'll have to go back and check that out. But we say hello to everybody that is joining in and watching the show, and hopefully we can give you a little bit of news. It's kind of, we're in that period, Kelvin, where the end of the fiscal year was June 30th. We're now officially, financially, fiscally into the 2025-26 year. What does that mean for athletics?
I want to say both in terms of, like you say, physically, but also from an athletic calendar standpoint. During this time is for HBCUs is usually a slow period for many reasons. So camp season for a lot of the sports have just happened in June. the end of June, football and women's basketball and men's basketball. There's a few that have them in July, but fall camp starts for football for us July 30th. So this month. So the first week, this holiday weekend, typically is the time where the coaches, this is their rest week again. The last rest weekend they have until probably December. So and then for administration, they just had the NACTA conference in Orlando. That happens usually around the same time every year, mid June. Where all the administrators, athletic administrators meet and have they seminars and stuff. So it's a bunch of meetings, some camps, and then some rest period, and then it's full go going into all these media days coming up.
Right. All right. Let's bring in the third member of our team, who is joining us today. We weren't really sure, but he is here. None other than Marcus Green. Marcus, how you doing tonight, Marcus?
Doing good. How are y'all?
The three amigos are back. Yes. Doing good, Marcus.
It's good to have you, Marcus. How are things going in the beautiful Northeast for you?
Hot and rainy. But other than that, it's going pretty good. I know FAMU's been busy on Instagram. I had to up my technology game and figure some things out.
Yeah, a lot of offers, some commits in multiple sports. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up a lot of those via Twitter. I have not been on Instagram as much lately, but man, the flow of students who have attended camps recently, they've done a great job of just shouting out FAMU football, various coaches, and I think what you end up getting is you get if you're somebody who follows Twitter and you have your permissions or you have the algorithm set up, you end up seeing a lot of these. So I have seen quite an uptick over the last couple of weeks. Definitely. But yeah, so maybe we'll get in I don't know what the number of commitments in terms of any sports. Marcus, we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, don't forget, Bryan. We've got Swac Media Days coming up, and I think we'll have an announcement where we'll be doing a live show again, and maybe have a commission, some coaches and players and all that to look forward to. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the Swingman Classic next Friday in the ATL. I already brought my ticket. So
I'm
looking. Yeah. Now, hopefully I have some press passes, but I got a ticket regardless.
I've asked a certain individual who happens to be in Atlanta.
Bloop, 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 bloop. I think he might be home.
Who even attended? He even attended a luncheon for this event. Yeah. Oh well, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm not gonna call any names. I'm just saying.
I know who you're talking about.
I'm like, did you get in touch with the media contact? Because you're right there in the luncheon. Nope, not yet. I said, man, let me just go ahead and buy some damn tickets because I don't, I might as well do what you did, just buy some tickets and go. Because anyway, let's not do that. I'm not gonna start the show that way. Right. If you're watching the show, hit the thumbs up and the like button. Let's go through the roll call. and let's say hello to the family that's joining us. Give some time we have to some of the folks who have come in to the chats. Again, if you want to join us in the chats, my JBN Online on YouTube or the ONG Strike Zone on YouTube, Facebook, Black College Sports Network, and the ONG Strike Zone on Facebook is where you can join us. First up, Jimmy Mack joining us. Say what's up to Jimmy. How you doing, Jimmy? Thanks for being a JBN subscriber.
Hello, beautiful people.
Kelvin. Appreciate Bull coming in with a great reminder to everybody that's going to be out and about the 4th. Again, for those who do celebrate, it is the 4th of July weekend. So, make sure you do so safely.
Responsibly.
This weekend. Edwin, responsibly, safely. Right. Edwin, good to see you, Edwin. Thanks for joining the show. Melissa Wilson.
What's up, Dad?
Checking in.
Hey, Melissa.
Good to see you, Melissa. Meredith.
Hey,
good
Meredith.
to see you, Meredith. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber. Ashton Harris checking in.
What's up, Pico?
Marcus, Middle Georgia.
Megan Marcus.
Checking in. Thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Live for Hoops or Die Lonely. Olivia checking in.
Olivia.
This always sounds better when you do it. Mary 305, thanks for checking in.
Hey, Auntie.
Checking in from South Florida. Another good brother from down south. Checking in. Tony, good to see you, Tony.
He ain't from down south. He lived there now, but he ain't from down south. He from down.
Exactly. Tallahassee's finest. Exactly. Edwin Moore checking in. Thank you for checking in. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Chuck Hunt also coming in from Monroe, Louisiana.
I want Edwin and Chuck's job because I want to be able to see all the podcasts live and come on and speak to everybody. I mean, and still be able to pay my bills. So I want to be like them brothers when I grow up.
You silly. Johnny Thornton, thanks for being a JBN subscriber. Man, he done got the countdown going, doesn't he?
What's up, Eagle?
Checking in with the countdown. Love to see it, Johnny. Marvin Allen, good to see you, Marvin. Thanks for checking in.
Duval.
Emmett Jones in the house. Good to see you, Emmett.
Emmett.
Little baby also checking in.
Big little baby.
Sweet. Good to see you, Sweet. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber.
Duval.
Chris Dukes in the house. Thank you.
Put up your Dukes.
Tamara T, thank you for being a JBN
subscriber. What's up,
Tamara
T? It's been a minute since I've seen Tamara T. What's up, Tamara T?
Thought you were going to add something there.
I was, but I pulled it back.
That's what it felt like. That's what I said. Good to see the boss checking in. So, got to be on your P's and Q's tonight, guys, especially y'all in the chat. The boss is in. Ezekiel Love checking in. Good to see you, Zeke. Good to see you. Carrie Daniels checking in all the way from
What's up, Carrie?
Duval. Good to see you.
Duval.
Yeah. Good to see you.
What up, Road Dog?
Road Dog Reed checking in. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for checking in.
What's up, Sermon?
Give me a second here. The beauty of the connection I'm on, acting funky. Again, here we go. Sermon Jr. checking in. Good to see you. All right. Today on the show, a couple of things that we're going to try to get through. One coming up a little bit later. at the bottom of the hour. Thanks for checking in, Sam. Good to see Sam checking
What's up,
in.
Sam?
We will have Brother Rick Kinsey, good friend of the show, coming in back again, sharing some good news. So we got a special announcement coming up here at the bottom of the hour, which Rick wants to come on the show, and we always got room, always got time. Also, gentlemen, we've been hard at work, or I should say Kelvin specifically, been hard at work gathering up the nominees for the 2025 third annual O&G Awards, which we will debut 2 weeks from today. So we'll introduce you to some of the nominees in some of the various categories today. We'll do the second half of the nominees next Wednesday, and then that's when the voting will open up. So the voting will open up sometime between Wednesday, and we'll close it off on Sunday. And then we will announce the winners July 16, 2025, third annual O&G Awards. And we are looking for sponsors. If you would like to be a sponsor, maybe sponsor some trophies and awards or plaques. The last 2 years we've kind of done this on just really show recognition. And it
is appreciated.
Say again.
I say, and it's very much appreciated. Johnson mentioned that he put it on his resume for his current job, and I know Smitty Rock just had a birthday, and some of the other folks who won awards, and they mentioned it, they appreciate it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, that's good to know. Good to know. So this is we kind of come up with the nominees and the names from the various categories, and then we turn it over to our viewers, our listeners, you guys who watch this show, and especially those who are part of the family. You guys know us, and you know these moments, and you share in them with us, the good, the bad, the amazing, the unbelievable. And, so this is not just our awards, but these are your awards as well. Just to give you some of the different categories that we have the female sports most memorable moment of the year, the male sport most memorable moment of the year, the female and male athletes of the year. Loaded categories this year. Kelvin stacked it up pretty high this year, Marcus. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how the voting goes. I think one category has 9 individuals, and another category has 6.
It's got to be on the women's side then.
Women has 9. Yes, women has 9. Women has 9. So, and then let me see. We've also got the coaches of the year, the women's sport coach of the year, and the men's sport coach of the year. We also have the women's sports team of the year, the male sports team of the year, categories that recognize the overall team. Then we get into some unique categories. We get into our sports administrator of the year, the support staff person of the year. Then we have, we don't forget about our assistant coaches. I mean, these head coaches can't do it by themselves. So we like to recognize the women's sport assistant coach of the year and the men's sport assistant coach of the year. Right. And then we will also, for the third year in a row, we will have our Kofi Hemingway male and female of the Year. And that award has typically gone to, whether it be a student athlete or a supporter, but somebody who exemplifies the spirit of our friend, our former co-host, Kofi Hemingway. And so, that, and we've kind of left that one open. We kind of go open nominees. So we don't try to, it kind of, by everyone who votes, we kind of open it up and leave it to the people and let the people tell us who that person is. And we've had some pretty interesting votes. I'm sorry, Emmett. This is this is usually a award for Florida A&M University related folk. So
no, it ain't usually. It is. It's a rattler thing.
Well, yeah, it's a rattler thing. So so there you go. So yeah, we will go through some of the nominees a little bit later in the show. All right. Any other headline news and notes? I think the biggest headline news that just went across the wires today had to do with the announcement of the Florida State budget that was recently signed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on June 30th for the fiscal year that began yesterday, July 1. In the budget here, reading right from the Tallahassee Democrat, it says a roughly $115 billion state budget was signed, and it includes $65.5 million in money for Florida A&M University, which is nearly $40 million, a $40 million increase from last year. I did watch a little bit of the press conference from President-elect Marva Johnson, who made her first, I guess you could say she made her first public press conference, where she said FAMU had asked for somewhere nearly a 50-something million and received 9 to 10 more than what was asked. So, so I mean that now it says FAMU, reading more in the article. It says FAMU initial request was for $55.5 million in funding. The 25-26 allocations amounted to nearly $10 million more than what the university asked for. FAMU got $40 million for the FAMU FSU College of Engineering, $15 million for operational enhancements, $5 million for the College of Law, $2.5 million to enhance campus security, $2 million for the College of Agricultural and Food Science, and $975,000 to conduct an agronomical study on emerging crops in Florida. So, any initial thoughts there, Kelvin? I know, sometimes those things, I don't know, how big or how excited we are. We, especially none of that necessarily really applies to athletics, but any thoughts that you want to share regarding that announcement?
Yeah, first of all, I'll say that we just didn't have effective lobbying last year. So I don't think we didn't ask for that much, but even what we asked for, we didn't really get in any appropriations last year with last year's leadership. Of course, they've made this hire and brought on someone that needs some wins. So we got pretty much everything we asked for, plus a few extras. Of course, this is more operational dollars. This is not, again, in the state of Florida, you can't fund athletics with operational dollars. They have approved where we can use some auxiliary dollars in certain circumstances. So that will be very helpful to the athletics this fall and for the next 3 years. But this was it's a win, and I always say that there's in chaos there's opportunity. This is an example of it. They have to. She needs to be successful. They forced this situation upon everybody, her and the university constituency, and it needs to be a successful thing. So we better try to leverage and milk as much as this goodwill as we can. Let's put it that way. And then at 40 million, what I'm not clear on is so they're doing a new wing of the College of Engineering, and it's been on the appropriations list, and it's been an ask for both Florida State and FSU. I mean FSU and FAMU, since it's a joint college for the last my amount of years. And so there's 40 million showing on the FSU side and 40 million showing on the FAMU side. And if you remember, Amira Mangum, she gave fiduciary responsibility. It used to be the operational dollars that used to come to FAMU. She gave it over to Florida State during her brief tenure. What is not clear is that 40 million appropriated to both schools to make up 80 million, which would probably sound like the right amount for a new engineering wing, but or is that just 40 million being claimed on both schools' budgets? I'm not sure on that part of it, but either way, it's better than zero, and we got everything that we asked for this session, so that's a good thing.
The auxiliary funds story or the news about that came out last week. Do we know a number or what that number might look like? Because I did see some things from our neighbors across the tracks, but as it relates to us,
I don't know for us if we ever come out with a number. I think FSU is allowed to use up to $20 million to offset some of the NIL from the House agreement. Now, and I guess it's on a sliding scale for the next few years. I think was it 28 or 2030 or something like that you get weaned off of it. But for us, I don't know if we've ever come out and said, to what degree or how much. I mean, people are assuming that we're going to use it. Well, people are, how would I put it? I've seen things where, hey, yeah, we can use the 20 million. Well, we'll see. Do we have 20 million auxiliary going to pump towards athletics, and is it kind of prorated, scaled back a little bit? I mean, the ruling, I guess, has impact across all the public schools, but you still have to have it and still have to have the desire to use it and to use that up to that amount.
So, no, I don't have that number, and I'm not going to speculate at this time, but I think it's very important that we solidify going into the fall. Again, I told you this is like the most important time going in because the new calendar year has started. There's some carry forward dollars from different things, auxiliaries, as well as I know construction has some carry forward dollars, and there are probably some other monies that were unused or unspent during the just concluded fiscal year that may have some carry forward dollars, and we got this change in leadership, and we really need to deal with, eliminate the suspension of our athletic director, because I think the expertise on campus lies with her, frankly. So and the budget, the physical budget, the money is not there. The systems are down until usually like a week into the year, and then they doing the transfers and some reconciliation and all that kind of stuff. So, there's not going to be a lot of transactions over the next couple of weeks. But then you got to remember, you you're shoring up your travel arrangements for your fall sports. You've got summer school going on, student athletes here. You've got fall camp where the volleyball and track and the football team they are to be here. Like I said, July 30th camp starts for FAMU because we got a August 30th game. So there's a lot of things that are being done and need to be done. And though we have people in place, we got to have that stability at the top. And I think that's paramount. You got a new president coming in on August 1st. So, we need some stability.
All right. Let's get ready to take our first break. And let's bring on the other side, Rick Kinsey, Colonel Rick Kinsey, coming in to share some good news with us. We need some good news in the summertime. So let's get ready and go to that first break, and then we'll come back with Rick Kinsey with some good news to share for Rattler Nation. And so with that said, you're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back right after these words.
There's a shot.
That
Right.
might
It
be.
could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeaversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern, Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus, and joining us is none other than good friend of the program, Colonel Rick Kinsey. How you doing there, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
What's going on, Rick?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How about you all?
Hey, man, doing wonderful, man. Ready for Rattler Nation here, the good news?
Yeah, as I heard you guys earlier, you were talking about the good news that came from FAMU today and the support that we have received. And I think that the best news of all is through all of this that we've been going through, I'm happy to tell everybody we exceeded our goal. As you all know, that we came on with Coach Rice He had a requirement, and he wanted some canopies to cover his guys up. As most rattlers know, our golf team has been lighting it up, not only on the field, but on the golf course. So we came out with an initiative to help purchase those 2 canopies that he needs over on his driving range, which most people don't know that we do have a driving range on campus directly behind the Took Center. So I'm happy to report today that we exceeded that goal. I would tell you guys, although we're over 60, we raised about $75,000. And what we did was we gave about $15K over to our sports authority property. And I'll tell you a little bit about that and why that happened. So I'm here tonight to report that we exceeded the goal. And I think that's been the best news.
Yes.
As you all know, for the past 2 months, we have undergone a lot.
Yes.
And trying to fundraise when you're in the storm, as you all know, is one of the hardest things to do. And when we started out on this journey back in February, when Coach, he and I and Dr. Pickett, who is definitely one of the Rattlers in Arms that plays a big part because Pick is the golfer, we had this conversation about his knees. And so we said, hey, Coach, what are our chances of winning the SWAC championship? And Mike said, hey, I think we got a great chance. I said, well, why don't we do this? Win the SWAC championship, and we'll go forward with this initiative, right? Because when you're winning, people have winning dollars in their pockets, and we think we should be able to accomplish that goal of raising the $50,000. So he did win the SWAC championship. And then so we kicked off the initiative, and I'm here to tell you that within 2 months, I'm happy to report that we raised over $60,000. And so that's a major win for Rattler Nation, for our golf team. So I tell you, I'm so happy tonight. I can finally get some sleep. All the long calls, calling folks and emailing folks and texting folks. I know they're sick and tired of me. And believe it or not, we still got funds coming in. Right before the show, I looked at the site and folks are still donating. So we're happy to hear that. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to give you all a shout out because on this journey, you have allowed me to come on here. And it's because of that, I think that no doubt in my mind, you took us over. So I'm happy to say that I thank you so very much. And myself and the Rattlers in Arms and Coach Rice, we want to thank you for that.
That's humbling to hear. Take us behind the scenes of the process of fundraising for this, because I love the fact that this can be done in a 2-month process, and that we were able to hit this mark in 2 months. But how many were you able to create or keep any statistics? How many of the donors were first-time donors, whether it be athletics or golf? And then how many are repeats? And I'm talking maybe if you had to throw percentage, you don't have to give me numbers, but percentage-wise.
I would say
how do we keep this going? I guess that's how do we keep this going? How do we turn these into repetitive donors?
Yeah, Brian, see, for us, because we're a targeted group, right? Specifically, what I mean is we support golf, right? And so this was intended for golfers because you would think that if it's golf, it's relatively easy. And just to throw some things out there, I don't know if you all recall about 2 years ago in 23, we created the Leadership Legacy for ROTC. So we just don't do athletics. And in 45 days, we raised $78,000 for ROTC. And that's still ongoing because that's called a Leadership Legacy. And every person has committed to give $1,000. So as you all remember too, Kelvin and Bryan, when we played the game here in Tampa for the Strike Tour, we raised $45,000 on a short notice. So we got the call from the AD at the time, Tiffany Sykes, and they asked could we do the Strike Tour because, as you know, they normally do that in the major cities. And we said, hey, since you're calling me to ask to do that, we're going to have to pull that off during the USF game. And not only were we able to raise $45,000, but I also got a donor to give us $30,000. And I'm here to tell you to this day, that same donor that gave us $30,000 last year gave us $30,000 again this year. And it appears that we'll be able to get that as long as that person is in the place that they're currently in. So I'm happy to report that we'll not only get, that's 30 last year, 30 this year. I was asking for 50. They said, hey, Ricky, we'll give you 30. I'm like, got it. We'll take 30. And so next year we'll get 30. It all comes to athletics, just to let you know. So as you can clearly see, Bryan, I don't keep statistics on new donors. I let the foundation do that. Okay, I'm a fundraiser. Okay, I'm not into how many new donors, old donors, because I deal in different groups. So when I target ROTC, I don't target anybody else. They're retired Army personnel. Okay, so when we go after golf, it's kind of like we try to go after golfers in particular. And as you all know, when we we raised funds last year for the putting green. Now that came specifically out of the Plant City chapter, myself, Keith Stubbs, and Dr. Maurice Pickett. So we're a small group, but on this initiative, and I tell you, we were trying to target just golfers. Because I said, man, if we can't get 50 golfers to give $1,000, we got a problem, right? And it's easy to sell because he has won everything. And people didn't realize that he had won 3 additional championships this past year. Now, I would tell you, I attribute that to our marketing team in athletics. We have to do a better job of letting everybody know what these student athletes are doing. Yeah. And so I can't tell you, Bryan, that because I don't really get into that, because when I'm trying to raise money, that's not my goal. How many are new? How many are, first time? Just because it's not important when I'm trying to raise the money, right? And so I let the foundation do that. So they're able to say, hey, and I will ask that question because that's a very good question of how many are new, how many are repeat offenders, if you will. And I would tell you that because of the situation we're in with the president, and I'm hoping that everybody change their mindset and remember that the students are what's important, that did kind of hurt us a little bit. So as you know, that during this period of time, it was touch and go, man, because when this selection process, and I'm gonna blame it on the process, okay? Right. Folks were a little antsy about giving because then we ran into the salary piece, right? Is it restricted funds? How are we going to pay her? And so then that became an issue because some folks that were going to give, I had lost $10,000 right off the rip when somebody said, hey, where's that money going? Is it going to her salary? I'm like, no, this is specific. We will purchase the canopies. Just FYI, the canopies are right now being actually produced. Okay, we went out on the limb and told the company in Canada, could you go ahead on and execute that? Because our goal is to get those canopies here before August 1st. I think it's going to be a little tight because of the pay process that the university has to go through. And I'm a little disappointed in that procurement piece. And I'm sure, Kevin, you know this. It's just somewhat disjointed. So Bryan, I don't know that to your question, but when we're doing what we do, I like to tell everybody, you will see it. Okay? Because people, when they see something, they believe in what you're doing. Yep. So when they heard about and they saw the indoor putting green, now you're looking at 2 canopies that you won't be able to miss once they get erected, right? And the goal is, if we can't do the ribbon cutting ceremony this month, we're looking at doing it between the 1st of August and the 18th before the students return. That'll give us that dead time we need in there. And we'll have a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we invite all the donors who participated in this effort. Because we had about a total of 90 donors. And that's a lot, man. And believe it or not, I wanted to get a little greedy and say, can we get 10 more? Can we hit the 100 mark, right? Yeah. So it would have been monumental. But I think that Rattlers will be happy. And when you go down, as you're going towards the baseball field in the police department, when you look to your left, you can't miss those canopies. Once they are erected, guys, it's going to be a sight to see. So we're just so happy, man, and elated that everybody that came in and support us. And like I said, you guys, for sure, by you allowing me to come on your platform, it did pay some big dividends.
Nice. Any other questions or thoughts that you guys have, Marcus and Kelvin?
I do. Rick, I thought it was really important for you to come back since you had came on the show and we had used this platform to try to push this initiative through. I wanted to make sure everybody know the good works. Don't, you know, as you say, with the foundation, with the marketing team in athletics, making sure that people know the success of our golf program. Well, also is equally important when folks like yourself go out and take on a task, because you're not getting paid for this, to fundraise and do things for athletics. Then I think it's very important that we show our audience, and you know, it's just not FAMUans here. There's people from other universities. What can happen when, you know, the right person with the right vision and the right trust in relationship with the givers, you know, these things can happen. So kudos to you. And another reason why this is really important is because of all the instability right now at our university. Right, we transition into a new president next month. You know, we you know, our AD still is, you know, out right now, and the strike tour. You mentioned the strike tour the last couple of years. Well, all this instability has impacted the strike tour this year. So there have not been a strike tour. So it's important that we as alumni continue to do what we can to keep the ball rolling. I just want to say thank you, and then you can speak to that.
Well, and you're right. What I would like for Rattlers to understand, right? The university is bigger than one person. And when you get frustrated, my parents, and they're both living, they have a tendency, when I get mad at FAMU, I divorce FAMU every week. And my mom always says to me, right, you don't know what you're going to find out when you wake up in the morning, right? And so sometimes you're afraid to wake up because, like, is there any bad news? You know, what has happened at FAMU, right? And I think that besides Marvin Johnson, when I woke up, they say, hey, man, Joe Bullitt, you know, stepped away from that on. I'm like, oh, God. And I say, he's going to still be the announcer for the Rattlers, right, for the March 100. So my parents always remind me that their faith is in God and not the preacher.
Right.
And so I think what I would like for Rattlers to take from this is it's always about the students, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're going to give and support Mother FAMU, make it about the students. Don't make it about a person, because they're going to come and go. Mm-hmm. So what we try to keep our eye on is the prize, which are the students. Without the students, there is no FAMU. And so if Rattlers could just rally behind and realize that, look, just because we have a new president, my giving in support of FAMU is not going to stop. Okay? And so don't look for a reason not to give. Look for a reason to give. And if we can weather this storm and raise, like I said, really it's over 75,000. But just remember 15, and I don't want nobody to misconstrue that. Well, you said, Rick, but it's true. You can call the foundation. They'll tell you. We do have a $30,000 donor. And thus far, they've been 2 years in a row. I'm looking to get more. So you can still do it, right? It's going to be a little difficult. But we kept our eyes on the prize. And I tell you, that's why your platform is important, because you keep us current, not just about athletics, but what's going on at the university. So when people pay attention to what you're doing and how you allow them the opportunity to give back, it's what's important, man. And so that's why, I mean, I thank you. I thank the boosters, because the boosters were supporting of us. They put us on their site, the 220 Club. Even the Things Up, and some of the donors, man, even Black Dollar Give Day, they threw in the Plant City chapter, the RV StrikeZone. Okay, so we had a lot of people that was behind us, and they kept their eyes on the prize. And so what we would do, believe it or not, every Wednesday, we would text a small group of people and say, hey, look, I need you to reach out to 10 people. And I'm telling you guys, we had donations as small as $25. And those $25 matter. And I was so proud to see that. And I'm proud to even say this. If you notice the shirt, right, there's no There's no coincidence why I'm saying this, right? No quit, the rattler, and all commit. Okay, so we didn't quit, and it was tough. But with you guys allowing us this opportunity, and if just imagine, and I had spoke with the AD about if small organizations such as ours, the Rattlers in Arms, if they took an Olympic sport and just raised money, $10,000 to $20,000, the baseball alumni does a very good job. Tony Bell and those guys, they raise anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 every year, right? So if we had organizations, even the NAA, if they just took an Olympic sport, chapters took an Olympic sport and raised at least $10,000 to $20,000, that is major for our teams, right? And so when you think about the year that our sports teams had, they had a pretty good year, man. We just about won everything in the SWAC.
Yeah.
Then it becomes what I hated the most was when our boys won the bowl game, the championship in Atlanta. We didn't celebrate them in the way we needed to, because we made it about a coach. Right? Somehow, some way, it always appears that when our student athletes are lighting it up on the field and winning, something just gets in the way of sharing their success. So what I hope is, and what we have done, is let our students, athletes know that we truly appreciate not only what they do on the field, but in the classroom. Right. As you all know, the golf team had an APR score of 1,000.
1,000. Perfect.
I want y'all to understand that 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we need to treat our kids special, right? Yeah. We can't always have this. We got to take the backseat approach to everything we do. Let's reward the champions for being the champions. And our golf team has been lighting it up, man, every year. So coach, and as you all know, he got coach of the year. We had a few of his players that were first team with Swac and second team Swac. And we just got a guy, a kid from Stetson.
Yep.
That will be joining us. This kid is lighting it up, man. And as you all know, they play right over there at Florida State this year. I wish we would have had a greater support piece to support those kids, and they did well. And when I try to reach out to donors, I always remind them, I say, you know what? Your support a way of being able to beat the Power 5 schools. Imagine that. Your support away from beating the Power 5 school. So, you know, if we can get some of these PGA players, and I just don't understand, and Kelvin and Bryan and even Marcus, there's something we're not doing right. Because when you are winning, everybody wants to support a winning team. I just don't know what it is. Steph Curry does this celebrity golf tournament for Howard University at Pebble Creek every year. They raise anywhere from $3 to $6 million. That's just for the golf team. So imagine here we're lighting it up, man. Yeah. And I'm still a little disappointed, Kevin. I know I echo this every time. I tell you guys, LeBron James haven't been on our campus, and we wear his gear. We had Shaquille O'Neal's son here for that short period of time. Shaquille never showed up on Florida A&M University's campus. I don't know what it is, you know, but we're not doing something right. But again, guys, you know, we're going to keep doing what we do because it's about the students. It's not about a person. And at this point, you know, no matter how mad we are about the selection process, I have personally moved on from that. It ain't personal. The president is the president, and we're going to have to go ahead and move out and support our student athletes and support whatever she's going to do. And you know, we all looking at her, and we're going to hold her to some high standards, right? And so she has a daunting task, and I hope that all the board of trustees who push this through, I hope they push that fundraising through. Okay. So guys, again, thank you all so very much for this platform. And again, hey, when we had a ribbon cutting ceremony, stay tuned for that. We're looking within the next 45 days. Okay, that you will see those. Y'all will actually see it, Kevin, before I do. You'll see it going up. I'll let you know when they're putting it up. I've asked them to video that when it gets there, when they start erecting it, and then we'll do the official ribbon cutting ceremony to signify that your dollars were well spent.
Awesome.
Awesome, awesome stuff, Rick. So many thoughts. I'm gonna keep it positive in this segment. I'm gonna keep it positive. But you were right in so many ways. And I wonder sometimes if we just, it does take time, effort, and energy for someone to do what you did. And those ideas you have, we need people to pick up the ball and carry it forward. We can't always wait on Rick Kinsey to do this. We can't always wait on the Rattler in Arms to do this. There are other people who are capable and able. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of courage, takes a little bit of faith, some stick-to-itness, for lack of a better word, to carry this across the goal line. I hope you've inspired. I know you've inspired me, Rick, and I'm hoping that somebody listening or watching the show is inspired. How can they reach out to you? Because I've seen a couple people in the chats applaud some of these ideas. If someone wants to reach out to you, Rick, how can they do that?
Hey, just hit me up at Rick Kinsey 1. Now that's RICKINSEY, the number 1 at yahoo.com. And as Kevin know, I will, once they reach out to me, that way I give them a number out. Of course, I don't want to give it out publicly because I get 1,000 calls and I'm only going to answer my kids, my grandkids, right? And we can have this discussion. But Bryan, just like you all, everybody on this line, right? We say we bleed orange and green. My thing is bleed more green than orange. I'm not asking for the next hope to come and save us. We have to save ourselves. And if we're serious, it just takes a little bit, right? So when we had donors as small as $25, and of course, as you all saw the momentum growing, I knew that would pick up. But as what you don't know, you know what our goal is? You know, our goal is to give $100,000 to FAMU every year. Most people don't know that, right? And when we came out in 22, you all might not remember this, where we had the ceremony around Eternal Flame. I had asked Dr. Pickett and Keith Stubbs. I said, look, we have to give $100,000. I was like, y'all willing to give 33 1/3? That's a big ask, right? And so when I called the foundation and said, hey, how many names can fit on that plaque? They told me 5. So we went out and asked 10 people. We got 2. Would you be willing to give 20,000? I said, but now you got 5 years to do it, right? And so most people think you're crazy, right? They can only say no. So when I was going out and asked donors, I love it when donors say, well, Rick, how much you need? $50,000, right? That's the need. So typically you'll get, well, I give you 5. You think we gonna say no to 5? The answer is no. We'll take that, right? Now I only got to get 10 more guys to give me 5 and we there, right? So, but what our goal was from 22 was to raise $100,000 a year. Believe it or not. So when we did it in 22 and 23, when we created the Leadership Legacy for ROTC, it was to raise 100,000 and we raised 78. Imagine that. But when you throw the 45 in for the Strike Tour, that was over $100,000, right?
Right.
So last year, again, we went and got 30 from a donor and we exceeded about 65. So this year, the same thing, right? So we're a quarter of a way there. 75, we're going to hit 80. I guarantee you, because people are still giving. And then now I got to figure out how we're going to get 20,000 more. So it's a personal goal of the Rattlers in Arms. And you can't do this, man, until you have people who understand what it's about. And it's about the kids. Okay? That's how we stay focused. And so that's the lofty goal, right? But we just one small organization. You still got the 220 Club that's doing things. You got the boosters that are doing things. And of course, the boosters is the DSO. But just imagine if the F Club goal was to raise $100,000, right? They just a club. But if the F Club raised 100, Von them doing their thing, trying to reach $1 million. But if they just got 100,000 a year, the NAA, and they allow their chapters to do this, right? Not just from the NA, but just to let the chapters get involved, we would be well. And so imagine the Marching 100. Imagine everybody giving $100 a year that was in that band. Just $100 a year. That's all it takes, right?
Right.
I'm sure we don't have 1,000. I'm sure we had over 1,000 people in the band. We averaging about 3 something a year.
That's a deep alumni corps.
Yeah. But just imagine if every band member, former band member, gave $100 a year. I didn't say a month. I said a year. That would solve some of the band's problems. But you got to be committed.
Yep.
Right. So as you all know, Marcus and Bryan, I want to do more than brag differently.
Right.
Ooh,
I want to give differently.
Yes, sir.
And when you do that, and I'm telling you, $25 is not small. It's a part of the bigger piece. So for those $25 donors who gave, imagine this, $60,000 later.
Yes.
All right. With less than 60 days. Guys, that's monumental. And I can't overemphasize your platform, things up, what Vaughn does, and by him allowing us and posting the same information. And like I said, just this morning when I had someone call me and say, hey, is it over? Can we still give? That site is up forever. You can give whatever you want to. You text 41444 FAMU Golf, and you're there. As small as $25, man. And so again, guys, if we keep our eyes on the prize for Mother FAMU, and we do it one little person at a time, we're going to be successful. And as they say, we're going to be all right.
There you go.
All right. So I'm going to issue the challenge right here, right now on the show, because it's July 2nd. We're just one day, 2 days into the new fiscal year. So we have, how many sports do we have, Kelvin? How many sports do we have?
It's 14.
14 sports, right? Are we including cheer into that?
No.
I'm not sure. Right. I was going to say I'm not sure of that. Right. So we need to. We can say 15.
Yeah, 15 then.
And I'm going to
because cheer is not a quote-unquote NCAA sport yet.
Here's where I'm going. Yeah. Okay, so we including cheer in the band. That puts us at 16. I need 16 chapters. I need 16 people from different chapters. I'm going to start it off. You heard the idea from Colonel Rick Kinsey. We have 16 programs. I need 16 individuals from different chapters. You don't have to be the chapter president or the executive. You can be a member of the chapter, and we can find a way to spearhead this, right? And the idea is very simple. If a chapter, and you want to partner with a couple chapters, fine. But we need 16 individuals to represent and get behind our 16 programs, and I'm including the Marching 100 in that, right? So that we can find ways to fundraise from those chapters and others for these sports. We can make an impact, a strong impact, in combination with all the other things that are going on. And I think Rick, give your email address again, because somebody's listening. I know I got at least 16, 17, maybe 20 people represent different chapters, and this idea can catch fire in a heartbeat. We just need the right people to just hear it and want to go forward.
I mean, too, guys, just think about it. We got Be Out Days. You got individuals who are doing Be Out Days, right? That's not just chapters. You got the various classes, all right? Yeah. But even a class, don't just come out for homecoming with a big check. Continuously do that, right? Yeah. So imagine, we're only talking about being able to raise $10,000 to $20,000 for an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Football players took care of that. And again, imagine $100 a year. I didn't say a month. What $100 a year can do, we don't have over 1,000 guys who played football. Okay? That's $100,000, man. Yeah. And you're only asking for that for 1 month.
One time.
So if classes did the same thing, right? Don't give the one big check at homecoming and we don't see you again. Okay? I'd rather you give $10,000 to $20,000 every year to an Olympic sport, just pick one. Pick tennis. It's not that expensive. Pick bowling, right? If you show these students some love, it's just that simple. And we're saying $100 a year. Now, some people would give more than that. If you got some friends, just say, hey, match my giving, right? And you have to be careful, because what I ask is, I always say to my friends who match certain things, I say, please don't come at one time. Don't all 10 of y'all come at me for $1,000 this year. Kind of give me a break, so yeah, you know. But if you do $100 a year, man,
yeah,
it's just that powerful. So I just want every little auxiliary group, if you want to call it, but the Be Out days are very successful. The one in Atlanta is a big deal, you know. So if you can do more than just scholarships, right? You can make an impact, man. And so I thank you again for that challenge. And we got golf. Tony Bell and those guys got baseball. So you can already see, you know, and man, if we do that, somebody pick up softball and they're winning. Track and field. We had a young man. Come on, man. I mean, so it's easy to support them because they're winning. And if we reward them in that small way, $100 a year. That's all you're asking from an individual, right? We blow that at homecoming, man. You know, they'll come in and spend over $1,000 to $2,000 because you got to fly here. You're mad at the high hotel prices. Then you go eat all the food on Perry Street. You go to all the day parties and brag about how good you look. You see the same people year after year, and we all line about, I lost all this weight. No, you didn't. You don't look like you did when you was here on the yard. You know, my mini me. You don't look like your mini me. You know what I'm saying? You look like the big me of the mini me. So if you just go about it that way, thanks for the challenge. We gonna hold you to that as well. We stand up tonight and throw the gauntlet down. We gonna do our piece. And I challenge everybody to just meet us at the $100 a year. Okay, and it's more of you all than it is us. So if you do that, man, we're gonna be successful, and then we'll be a force to be reckoned with. And then the LeBron James, I'll let y'all work on that, Bryan and Kelvin and Marcus, to get LeBron here. So that's y'all task, and however you do that, let me know.
I'm working. Well, I'm working. You know what? It's funny. I'm working. It's funny. I told somebody about that LeBron James had not been to FAMU, and they were shocked. And this person told me, he was like, okay, I'm going to work on it. I said, oh, okay. I just okay. Well, hey, a lot of people been working on it. So, I mean, we'll see.
Well, again, stability helps. But I also, this conversation is timely because I would tell you, I reached out and I was hopeful that the schedule had permitted that it would have been this show. But we have a person who was just announced by the university, whose sole responsibility is going to be fundraising, focused squarely on athletics and the Marching 100s. And that was Mr. Marvin Green. He was just announced on Monday, and I happened to see him Monday, and and so we've already started having a conversation. So he will be on the show at some point. And so we will definitely share this information and this idea with him. He probably, if he's not watching live, he'll catch it later on.
And Marvin is a big supporter of what we were doing. And I will let you know he did reach out to a donor in Atlanta that contributed substantially to this effort as well. And he and I have had conversations, and he's on board with this that we shared with you tonight about how to get others to support. And believe it or not, if the university also publicize what others are doing to help raise money for their athletic program on their website, that would be very effective, right? We just don't have to wait to Giving Day. You don't have to wait to 1887. This was a big deal, man. And if they had got behind it, we would have saw the $100,000 mark. I truly believe we would have hit the $100,000 mark. So tell Luke Campbell, brother Stan Campbell, okay, who owns the golf club down there, that look, man, go ahead and give us $25,000 and take us over the hump, and we hit that 100K mark. So we have to use the resources that we have, right?
Yes.
And so bring him on board and say, hey, man, be a support of this golf team. And that's what we have to do. So again, you guys are great, man. Thank you so very much for allowing us this opportunity. And Bryan, we take your challenge, man. And we're going to continue to do what we do. And we're going to definitely continue to raise money for Coach throughout this year.
Great job, Rick. Appreciate
you. Thank you, guys.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
All right,
man.
you guys have a good evening.
Man. Thank you.
Hall of Famer for coming
Thank
up.
you,
Hall of
man.
Famer.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Pickett is in.
Yeah.
Dr. Pickett is in.
Yeah.
So congratulations to my partner in crime. That's 2 rattlers in arms, man.
Yep.
You know, you can't beat that, right? As going in as supporters. So
That's right.
again, he is the man behind golf. I'm just a fundraiser. So they allow me to hang out with him because I can fundraise. So again, thank you guys, and thank everybody in Rattler Nation that support us, and I always do.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a great evening.
All right,
Take
Rick.
care now.
All right. Good stuff there from Colonel Rick Kinsey. Let's take a break, digest what we just learned, what we talked about, and then get into a few other things, as well as introduce you to some of the nominees for the 2025 third annual O&G Awards.
I think I want to run down last year's winners to remind folks too.
All right, so good. If you have all, do you have all that ready? Then we can do that before we introduce the nominees.
Yeah. I've got
good.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back right after these words. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being heard.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Sugar Chateau Desserts is a specialty bakery located in the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area. We will create delicious and one-of-a-kind treats for any occasion. Sugar Chateau is currently shipping cakes in a jar, offering a variety of different flavors in a single-serve container that can help you celebrate in accordance with social distancing. Place your orders today by calling 803-526-7895 or visiting sugarchateaudesserts.com.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Attention football fans. The Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge kickoff is back in Atlanta on August 23rd. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC Southern. Join us at Center Park Stadium for a full day of tailgating, football, and bands. For more information and tickets, visit MEACSWACChallenge.com.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. Fingers crossed, my signal's still holding up strong, holding up okay. We are in our home studios, of course. Everybody operating from probably an internet cable connection, except me. Thanks, Spectrum. All right. Instant reaction from the what's your guys' reaction, Marcus? What's your reaction from the conversation interview with Rick Kinsey?
Well, it's definitely positive news, and going through, I guess, the 7 stages of grief with everything going on with the presidential search and nomination. But I mean, it's good and it's inspiring. It's good news to hear, and it's very inspiring. So I think that'll at least give somewhat of a light at the end of the tunnel as it relates to athletics. So we're hearing a whole bunch of things coming at us, not only from the school, but also changes in the NCAA and all these things that were swirling around. So it gives some positive news for us to look forward to for athletics and some good ideas.
Kelvin, anything you want to add?
I think you're on mute.
You guys, I'm probably having issues with my end.
No, I'm not hearing Kelvin. He's not on mute from.
Oh, Kelvin, are you? Yeah, I don't. So it wasn't me.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, we can. Well, we can.
Okay.
So you had us thinking. So, okay, go ahead.
But I went on mute. But no, it's just simple, man. It just take one person who want to do something, and of course, Rick been doing this thing for a prolonged period of time. Like you said, with Rallies and Arms and ROTC program, as well as other endeavors. You've seen him on the field at homecoming multiple times. He's going in the Hall of Fame as a supporter. And I just thought it was important that people realize and know that Rattlers, we still doing Rattler things, right? We still out here. We love our coaches. We love our support staff. We love our student athletes. And we're going to continue to support them because we champions. We treasure championships, as we always talk about. And when we talk about these awards, you'll see that in last year's results and the nominations for now. So, I just thought it was just really important that we continue to spread the good news of FAMU.
The coordination with Lee Hall, I'm just going to say that, I think is one of the things that was hinted at that is always a head scratcher. And like you said, we have these great moments, and sometimes they get left to just athletics to promote them. But I kind of agree, shouldn't the university also be promoting these things out through their own office of communications or their own the overall university website and communications?
I mean, yeah. Bryan, I know you just kind of asking that rhetorically, but absolutely. I mean, there's opportunity for improvements. I just mentioned we're going through some transition right now, and in this transition, there's opportunity for us to engage. Remember, we just started a new physical year, so there's a new president for the NAA who I'm also reaching out to try to get on the show. So it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to help be the change we want to see. I think a lot of times the mistake we've made, and when I say we, I'm saying in our communities, with our organizations, with our institutions, a lot of times we wait for somebody else to take the ball and run with it. And what Rick showed you, and what I'm proposing, frankly, is we are the solution to the situations, right? This was done without that apparatus. And of course, now as the transition happened, they're going to want to be associated with this. And they're going to need these platforms. They're going to need these alumni. They're going to need them. So it's opportunity. I'm preaching opportunity all of 2025, 26. It's opportunity, baby. Let's get it.
One of the things that you mentioned, and I was going to bring this up here in this particular segment, so I'm glad that you mentioned this. On June 30th, FAMU News from the university website, the Office of Communications, did release an article mentioning FAMU's fundraising team, adding Marvin Green Jr. as major gift officer for athletics and the Marching 100. In the article, it notes that Green raised more than $125,000 during his first 30 days. The Florida A&M University Division of University Advancement announces the addition of Marvin E. Green Jr. to the fundraising team as major gift officer for athletics and the world-renowned Marching 100 band. Green brings more than 2 decades of higher education and fundraising experience to the role. He previously held leadership positions in athletics, student affairs, and campus recreation at FAMU. Known for a strong legacy of relationship building, event coordination, and donor engagement, Green is recognized as a trusted figure in the Rattler community on both local, state, national, and international levels. This quote from Anthony Neal, Dr. Anthony Neal, Vice President of University Advancement. We are thrilled to welcome Marvin back to the Hill in this vital and first of its kind role. Let that sink in for a second. His deep understanding of the FAMU culture and experience, longstanding alumni relationships, and ability to mobilize resources will elevate fundraising for our athletic programs and the Marching 100.
And Bryan, to your earlier question, actually, there are 3 thoughts that came to mind. You asked why didn't the university promote or get behind Rick Kinsey's initiative or even other initiatives. The first thing that came to mind, well, first, 2 things. One, if you remember when Coach was on the show, Coach Bill Hayes, he mentioned when he got to FAMU, everybody's got to hustle. So if you think about that, okay, so now you have Rick Kinsey, and I'm not, disparaging that, but if everybody goes and does their own thing, and there's no cohesive effort, and the university feels like it doesn't have control, and if something doesn't go right with someone else's fundraising effort, for whatever it may be, that's not Rick, but say something goes down and they don't have control of it, then it reflects bad on the university. That's one consideration. The first consideration was Coach Hayes' statement that when he got here, he was shocked and amazed that everybody had a hustle. Everybody had something going on. So there's a lot of individual efforts that are going on. So we need to have that cohesiveness and get behind it, but also the university may be worried about, okay, we don't have much control and say over it. So
they need to start worrying about it and get busy. They need to do some work. I mean, you are right, Marcus. I just want to jump in because that point was so special there. You are right that there should be a more deliberate or intentional method into how we do things. But how the 220 Club got started and the things they did, how some of the QB Club that we started way back when in 2000, and the efforts we did with Coach Joe and Coach Riley. I mean, that's how things unfortunately have been happening up until now. Now, we got a new role with somebody who's actually paid to do this now, and we'll see the change.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I guess the third thing is, and like you mentioned, Marvin Green. I guess the thing that came up with that is We've been around long enough, and I know, Kelvin, you were back in the day with Humphreys and everything, and there was always this thing swirling around, maybe on a corporate side, maybe not athletics, around the foundation and different entities raising money or tapping corporations for money, and either A, hitting the same corporations, or B, or a combination of maybe not so subtle competition between the two, and it wasn't things weren't necessarily shared. And we don't want to have the same things happen that would be a detriment to FAMU as a whole. So I guess one curiosity I have is, with Marvin coming into that role, and then if we have these other, the other efforts that are being positive, how do we spread the donor pool such that we're not hitting the same, 20, the Pareto rule, 80% of the people, 20% of people doing 80% of fundraising, we're hitting the same people over and over again. So how are they going to coordinate, to your point, to make sure that we spread the donor pool and don't have donor fatigue, especially if there's well-known people who are always giving?
Well, I think the role that Marvin Green's role is to go after corporate sponsorship. For example, and I love what Brother Rick Kinsey said, and I agree 100% here. The athletic boosters is the entity at our university and most universities that should coordinate all efforts for fundraising for athletic programs. Marvin Green's role shouldn't interact at all with the boosters, because
I don't agree with that, but go ahead.
Well,
when
I say interact,
there's a model. There's a model of how this stuff's done, right? And we just need to start following some of the models that are done, right? First of all, we done had this discussion before. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna just go real quick, Bryan. Then I'm gonna let you finish your thought. If you look at the structure of UF and FSU and some of these other organizations, there's a board, there's a foundation, and there's a board that's inclusive of all these other support groups that have a seat at the table, but that collective organization drives the capital campaigns, the procurement, the vision of athletics, along with the athletic administration and the university, right? It's not rocket science. It's not that difficult, man. But we have to first get away. First, we got to have the right people. All right. We got to have folks who got the energy and the vision, who study this stuff, who trying to be great. That's first of all, and not stack these boards with people who just retired. I mean,
tired or retired?
Retired. Retired.
Tired. I thought you said tired. I mean, that could apply. Yeah, that might apply as well.
But yeah, we have to go through a restructuring, to be honest, and then we have to bring in a diverse group of people with thoughts and processes and vision, man. Because a lot of times these groups and organizations, they stay small because people are territorial and they get a personal vendetta against somebody. Let me tell you something. Small as Tallahassee is, we got 2 chapters, right? Alumni Association chapters, right? You got the regular one, and we got the capital city, right? I'm assuming capital city is still active because somebody got mad at somebody at the regular, and that's the kind of foolishness. I'm just saying, man. I'm sorry I had to air that out, but I'm just saying you can't port to an organization and tell them that they got to, we got to rely on them when they not structured or don't have the leadership to do what we're talking about. So we're gonna have to do some restructuring, and we're gonna have to get some new blood at the table. Period. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bryan's speechless. Oh my God.
All right. Jesus.
Oh, quick note.
Let's
Kind of
move.
transitioning to
Let's
kind of, settle the air a little bit. Before we get to the other things that are dropping, I sent you guys some stuff earlier today. A whole lot of changes going on. And NCAA, 2 things that dropped today, I guess finally got codified. NCAA issued a waiver for designated student athletes. And those are the ones who, I guess, more or less they would have been the ones that would have been cut out because of the roster limits. And so now there's another transport portal window open up July 7th. So I'm looking at the article now from On3 Sports and from Ross Dellinger from Yahoo. So basically they have to submit their designated student athletes by July 6th, which is Sunday, which is weird. But
end of the week.
There's a transfer window open from July 7th, I think, through August 8th. I'm trying to find the date. So basically anybody who would have been on that bubble list that they were saying, okay, you don't count against the cap, but you can stay with your school. But now there's a transfer window for those athletes. That's one thing. And the other thing is there's some scuttlebutt, which may have some legs, that they might start allowing advertiser or sponsor patches on uniforms. So there's one thing that has to do with like personnel logistics and another thing of potential sponsorships. So all that's coming down, and we need to make sure that we're in position to take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So the sponsorship on the uniform, you said it's not currently in place, but they're positioning to try to have that in place for this upcoming fall?
Well, yes, I saw at least 2 articles, one from On3 and I think another one from, might have been the same On3 reporter, Peter Natkos or something like that. But basically LSU, they're kind of leading the charge. And there's an article in the Advocate that says they hope the NCAA will allow schools to sell patches on their jerseys. And the article kind of quoted last year with someone from the University of Florida talked maybe a month before the NCAA allowed corporate logos on the field that they believed it, and then it came to pass. So there might be some inside information there. So they may be looking at, and I guess they also referenced that they had jersey patches in the bowl game. So the bigger leagues, it might be the same thing as this thing with the state of Florida where they allow FSU to use $20 million and other schools benefited like us. If the Power 4 or the Big 2 push that be able to allow sponsorship patches on Gerald. Gerald hit me below the belt.
Off the top rope. Wow.
I know.
Hey, Steph mode like that. He just came off the
I know.
Out the crowd.
Hey, no, like, hello, how you doing, guys? Just come in all like, man.
It's like, yeah, so we'll see about the patches. So if we can get ahead of that and even logo placement on the field, even if it's permanent or even if they do something with like what's that called? Like a laser show where you can change it in and change it out, maybe sponsorship logos on the 30s, just with a light show or something, but something that'll allow us to take advantage of sponsorship dollars. So we'll see. I mean, just throwing that out there, but those are 2 things that are coming down the pipe. And we were caught up in our school-wide issues, but there's some major changes going on at the NCAA level, and we want to make sure that we're, in front of it.
Yeah, all centered around creating new revenue streams.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity to make money, and I really believe that athletics. And when we talk about this restructure, man, we gotta make the athletic foundation separate from everything else. It needs to be its own DSO and responsible for its own procurement, doing its own contracts and sponsorships, TV media packages, have its own staff that dedicated to doing nothing but that. That is that direction that I think all HBCUs, but specifically FAMU, definitely needs to go.
Well, it'll be interesting to see and hear the vision from the new leadership at FAMU to see if that's something that is possible.
There you go. There you go. Waiting to see what somebody else. No, we need to bring this to the table and beat them over the head with it.
To the table. Who's going to bring it to the table? That's the question. Who?
The same people who brought the golf canopy to the table. The coach expressed the needs. We, Rattler Nation, brought it to the table, and that's we, Rattler Nation, got to bring this to the table. Just like we, Rattler Nation, brought that we didn't want the football coach that somebody tried to force on us. I'm just saying, we got influence. We got vision.
Okay.
We.
French now. Is that what it is?
Okay.
We. Let's take a break. I'm gonna put. We've got some great opportunities. Again, we're constantly opening up the doors and letting you guys know there's a great opportunity in front of everyone here to be a part of not only the ONG Strike Zone, but the Black College Sports Network for the upcoming 25-26 year, with an opportunity to promote and advertise your company, your business, right here on our show, on our other shows, whether it be across the HBCU coverage that we provide. There's going to be opportunities for you to be a part of it. You've seen some of the ads that we run during our commercial breaks. Well, your business can also take advantage of getting the word out to hundreds of thousands of college-educated, HBCU-minded individuals, men, women. And so I'm going to post in the chats a link to our sponsorship and advertising pages, and want to encourage you, if you are a business or an advertiser looking to sponsor, you want to be a part of the ONG Strike Zone, or maybe you want to be a part of any of the other shows that are part of the network, here's an opportunity for you to get on board and do so here in the early part of the 25-26 year. So I'm going to post that in the chats. And when we come back, we will finally go through the nominations for part of the 2025 ONG Awards coming up right after this break. So hang tight with us and make sure to check in the chat features. Be on the lookout for this link. And if you have any questions, there is contact information there as well. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We will be back in just a moment.
Football fans, HBCU football is back in the ATL with the Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge Kickoff. Representing the MEAC, North Carolina Central, and representing the SWAC, Southern, Eagles, Jaguars, the Marching Sound Machine, the Human Jukebox. The kickoff trophy is up for grabs, and bragging rights are on the line. The rivalry is real. Bring the family and join us pre-game for the fun-filled Coca-Cola fan experience, including band jamborees, food, activations, and fellowship. For tickets and information, visit MEACSWACchallenge.com.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
All right. Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, and Marcus here. We are 2 weeks away from the Swac Football Media Day. 58 days until the Rattlers take the field down in South Florida to take on Howard University. But in 2 weeks, Swac Football Media Day will be happening in Birmingham. We will be there. Fellas, looking at the date, falls right in line with our planned ONG
Yes.
award.
I was gonna let you. I was gonna let you know.
You were gonna let me figure.
No. After the show, I was gonna tell you.
Thanks. All right. So we'll have to figure out how that's gonna work. But of course, with Coach Cozy, Ashton Grable and Davion Westmoreland will be attending. Interesting. Last year it was Dean and Bowler, two smaller guys, a running back and a DB. This time we're going in with two big guys, two guys in the trenches. Be real interesting. I don't think FAMU has ever had, I'm trying to think over the last 4 years since we've been going to the SWAC. I don't think we have taken two interior linemen to the media days. Usually. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think overall in general, I think somebody had reported that there's only like 3 quarterbacks that are actually attending. And we'll talk more next week about predictions of where we think we will be. But I will say this. I don't know if you guys caught my commentary on Sunday, but did you see what the Big 12 decided to do with regards to football media days?
Yeah, they did. They decided to do away with, you talking about doing away with the
predicted order.
Preseason, right.
Yeah, the preseason predicted order of finish. On the heels of last year, the team that was picked 16th ended up winning the conference last year. I would be in favor of the SWAC doing something similar, because just in case you want to know how the Kool-Aid is made, the people who select the preseason awards and the predicted order of finish in the SWAC are the SIDs and the coaches and the SIDs, right? So that's where that's coming from. And a lot of times it's a plug and play from the previous year. If you were a first or a second teamer at the end of last season, you will most likely be inserted into a preseason award spot, maybe even elevated. If you're a second team and there's no first teamer going into the fall, you instantly elevate and move up. It's kind of how they do it. But the predicted order of finish is always, interesting to me, because over the last couple of years, the rule has, well, at least what I've been told, is that you're not supposed to vote for yourself. But we have seen many teams that probably had no chance in heck of winning a division, let alone the conference, get a first place vote. And for the last 2 years, I have been questioning and wondering who is voting for the team that ends up finishing 5th and 6th. So I don't know. It's always one of those things that is fascinating me, and I agree 100%. I would be in favor. Gerald says the media should get some type of way. I would be in favor of the conference moving away from it and just letting one of your media partners run a media poll. There's going to be like, how many different media outlets are going to be there? There's going to be about well over 40, 50 different media outlets. Half of those entities are going to have a poll. So,
well, and I'll just add to it, Bryan. The reality is, with the transfer portal and NIL, and so people aren't tracking who's coming back and who, like that. Those ADs, and especially, at our level, those ADs are strung out, man, usually, and they ain't got time to be keeping up with it, who everybody got coming back and who done got in the portal and who returning and all that. So I agree with you. Not that I took preseason polls seriously anyway, right? It had very little value to me anyway. So I agree with you. I have no problem if they just completely did away with it. Stop playing.
Yeah. And I agree 100 with the idea from B. Starks. The media guide, FAMU has always had one of the nicest media guides. So no pressure on our new friend of the program, Double D. But we've always had one of the nicest preseason media guides. I think other schools have actually caught up with us because of what FAMU has always done with the preseason media guides. And that goes back as far as Alvin Hollins putting together good preseason media guides. But I would strongly encourage the athletic department to make them available for people to purchase. B. Starks. There are a lot of people who
Bryan, I'm not against it, but I will say this. It's technology now. People looking at stuff on their phones, and ain't nobody using books no more like that, man. Yeah, you got some old heads, and some traditionalists. But you said a lot of people. It ain't a lot of people. So
and the cost of printing.
I think pass the cost over to your Marcus. Stop it! Come on now, pass the cost. However, if it costs you $5 to print the book, sell the book for $10.
I have no idea. I don't have a problem with a limited number, but I'm just saying, man, the juice got to be worth the squeeze. I know you passionate and you like it, but I'm just saying, ain't nobody falling out because there ain't no media, no hard paperback media guide. All right, stop it.
You're the same guy are you one of those same people that don't think people are listening to radio broadcasts anymore?
And you talking to somebody who got every media guy we done had.
Thank you. So why are you trying to shame me?
I keep that stuff.
Older people.
But it's no harm in it, right? Some people like it. There's no harm in it. Long as they don't take you off the prize. I think people forget that, and I have to. That's why me being a former administration, being active in this thing, I just look at things differently. And you may not want to hear it, but you need to hear it. So I'm gonna tell the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. and frankly, you know, of all the things
you don't have to print as many, Kelvin. You don't have to print 1,000 copies. You
as
don't have
many
to print 1,000, but if you printed 200,
there's not a
300
budget.
copies, I bet they'd all sell.
Listen. It sounds easy for you when you don't have a budget and you don't have staff and you don't have the support. Then that falls with everything else you got to get ready for the season during the summer. I mean, it really is on the lower end of the totem pole. That's just the honest truth. And if it was a big deal, you see everybody doing it. If it was profitable, you see everybody doing it. You really don't see nobody doing it no more. That's a fact.
Oh my gosh. How many? I'm telling you, when you go to that, when you're at the Swac Media Day, there is a rush for people to, I don't even know. Somehow you just talked about having your own media guy. There are people that
I was at the Swac Media Day.
Yes, you were there. There were people that rush to go get these media guides because you end up leaning on that.
Were they free?
Yeah, it was
they're free. They were free for the media members, yeah.
And there was limited numbers. Some schools had very limited numbers, but there was limited numbers. And he's saying a lot of people. What it really was, about 35, 40 people. To me, that's not a lot of people. That's not a lot of people. So that's what I'm saying. You can print 100 or so and make that available. But if you want to sell it, make it available digital.
Yeah, that's what Sneaker Shop Talk was saying.
And let
like
people
a subscription.
Yeah. Let people pull it up how they want to pull it up. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm not saying don't do it. Yeah. Make it
$10.
Yeah. Just make it digital.
All right. I mean, okay. Do something. I'm just saying, do something.
I don't think Kelvin's saying not create a media guide. It's not the printable ones, because of the cost may not be worth the effort in terms of who's actually going to pay for it. But in terms of a print one, but if you make it digital and you pay a one-time fee, because we've pretty much gotten accustomed to subscription fees and everything and paywalls and all that other stuff. So if you either roll it to a season ticket package like someone else mentioned, or include it as part of, say,
Rattler Plus.
Rattler Plus, or make it a la carte where all you're doing is putting the effort into creating the one document, and then people can consume it how they want.
Right.
And they can look it on their tablet, they can bring it on their phone, and they can load it up at each game and scroll, look for names and all that stuff. Whereas the paper copy, you got to lug that around, you got to keep up with it, all that stuff. So
keep the coffee from spilling on it.
Mm-hmm. Or buy new one each and every game.
Eat your crabs on it.
Is that what you're doing with those extra copies?
No, mine is actually in the trunk. I'm a collector, yeah.
I think there are more. If I had time to create a poll, I would do that. I may put up a poll. I think you'd be surprised. There are more collectors than there are not. But anyway, all right. Let's get into the O&G Awards. The third annual O&G Awards. That date may change. July 16, 2026, 25. We just learned 2 weeks away.
Because I'll be on the road afterwards, so I won't even be available. I'll be on the road coming back.
All right. So yeah. All right. Anyway, so if it's not July 16th, then it definitely be the following week. But we thought we would introduce some of the nominees. I'm going to save some. The categories I'm going to save for next week, guys. I'm going to save the female most memorable moment of the year, male most memorable moment of the year, the teams of the year. Yeah. those 4 categories, the men and women's teams of the year, those are the ones that I'm saving for next week. All right. So just to kind of give you a heads up. But let's start with the nominees for our category. I'm going to throw the category, Kelvin. I'm going to let you introduce the names, so on and so forth. Well, first off, you said you were gonna mention. So as we do this, Kelvin, you have the winners from last year, so you can introduce and talk about the winner from last year while we introduce the nominees for this year. So I'm just gonna read the names as they are, and then let you go from there. Okay.
All right.
All right. So for the category of Administrator of the Year, the Administrators of the Year for 24-25, Rhea Floyd, Brittany Johnson, Angela Suggs, and John Torres. Kelvin.
All right. So looking, the Sports Administrator of the Year last year was a 2-time defending champion, and it was a landslide winner. He both years we did this, he won by the most percentages of any category, over 90-something%, and that was Josh Padilla, who was the SID. Of course, he only did half a year with us this year, and so.
So you mean we'll have a new Administrator of the Year this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have compliance person in Brittany. You got Real, who's sports marketing and game and does some of the game day scripts that for the in operations and events, in-game stuff at basketball, well, all the sporting events. Real also helps out with cheerleading, both at FAMU High as well as the university. She's always around. She works very hard. Been around for a while.
2 times. She's the only nominee from a year ago, and I think she was even a nominee the first year as well.
Yeah. 80 Suggs, came in. The semester had already, started. The fall had already started, and she had hired a bowling coach. She had hired a softball coach, Coach Bill, and so she kind of had to jump right mid-season into the fire, and we had a banner year championship wise. Of course, we talk about our APRs and compliance. So Brittany, I don't know her as much as well as John Torres, but they both have roles with that. So appropriate people nominated, and I'll be interested to see how this one goes. I think I know, but we'll see.
Brittany, the senior women administrator, just was recently selected to the NCAA's Pathway program.
Mm-hmm. And her, along with Travis, right now, kind of holding the fort down, so to speak, with athletics, which was another reason why I was like, hey, she got to step in. She had to, get to know and with our current AD, because she came in with our former AD, and then now she's in a position where she's got to step in. So, that's not an easy task at FAMU.
And John is the director of athletics, academic services.
Mm-hmm. So he's the actual day-to-day folk who manage the actual staff that's advising and working with our student athletes for all sports. Yeah.
Just happened to take a peek at the directories. A few openings there for that.
Yes.
In that department.
Yes, quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few. All right, moving over to the next category, the support staff of the year. We have a few folks who have been nominees previous years. Ms. Fenoris Hayes and Kenneth Lassiter both were on this nominee list a year ago. Dr. Oriaku, I don't think he was a nominee last year, but I think he was 2 years ago. And then new on the list from either year, Jeff Walker, who manages a lot of the video technical services that you saw. Pretty much a lot of the
All
production,
of
all of the
Pretty much all
video
of it.
production services. Jeff is the man behind the scenes running that. And LaDon Pritchett, also part of the support staff here. You want to give people a little bit of background on quickly on some of these individuals?
Yeah.
Especially the newer people. I don't think
Yeah.
maybe many people are familiar with LaDon or Dr. Oriaku's roles.
Well, Doc been around forever. He's
right.
Works in the pharmacy. You know, he was a former track athlete, and he's been the faculty rep in athletics for, I don't know, maybe the last 12, 15 years. He's been there a long time. Yeah. So, you know, as faculty rep, he has a role, you know, with the NCAA stuff, and then of course he helps student athletes and administration with anything dealing with you know, anything issues that they may have in terms of support with faculty and that kind of stuff. And then you know, you talked about Jeff and all the things he does. LaDon kind of has a hybrid role. You know, I know he helps out with facilities, you know, kind of focus on that. But he also works a lot with the AD on and some things, and now that Travis is there, I know he's working with Travis, you know, in terms of some of the operational and facility stuff. And did I say who won it last year?
No, I was just going to ask you, who won this award last year?
Cole Forney.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, we're coming off a championship last year, and people were feeling good about, you know, the physicality and the conditioning of our student athletes. And so Cole Forney won it last year. I think he's moved on.
I thought he had two. I thought he had two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now we do like to recognize our assistant coaches. So let's start with the women's sports assistant coaches of the year. And this is a run it back from the same five who were nominated a year ago. Felicia Barnes, cheerleading. Steve Canfield, volleyball. Dante Genie, women's basketball. Tamika Kinchin, cross country and track. And Earl Wade of tennis. All five, the same five from a year ago. How about that? Who's the winner from last year?
And three of them have titles.
Yeah, they do. Yes, three of them have titles. Yes.
You know, now that I'm looking at this,
I think it was either I think it was
no.
Canfield. That was 2 years ago when Canfield won.
You're right. 42.5%, Coach Gordon.
No, this is assistant coach of the year.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah, okay. It was women's basketball.
32.2.
Right.
Jenny
okay. Coach Jenny won last year. 2 years ago, I think it was Coach Canfield.
Yes.
So we got a couple of repeat winners in this. And
let's see. I see champion, another champion, and another champion. I see three champions on that.
This is the category. This is one of the categories that I think is, and you know that you said 32%, so that tells me
it was tight.
That it was a tight vote.
Yeah.
So, and I think what we find in this, you get a lot of the students, the student athletes who get behind this, and they really pump up their coaches. So, this is going to be a tough one. I got my personal thoughts on who I thought should have won last year. and maybe that person will get over the hump this year with the votes. So
yeah, me
this
too.
This will be a fun category to track.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the men's sports assistant coaches of the year. We've got 3 new faces from a year ago. We've got Coach Henry Burris representing football, and it's a diverse group. I think last year we only had football and baseball a year ago. This year we're represented with 4 sports. Robert Deadweiler II representing track, Mulby Dillard IV representing golf, and then 2 repeat nominees, Jeremiah McCullum and Brett Richardson, both representing baseball. Those 2 were nominees a year ago.
Okay, so last year, 44.8% was Smitty Rock, DC.
Smitty Rock, yeah.
Again, we was coming off a championship, and the Dog Cloud defense was a big reason why. And we saw the difference, frankly, this year.
Oh yeah.
So Smitty Rock won it last year, but I think everybody pretty much know what these different sports did. They champion, regular season
golf
champion.
Championship. Yep. I think people really liked what we saw from Burris at the end of the season.
Yeah.
McCullum, the pitching staff was one of the best pitching staffs in the SWAC. When you look at the numbers, and then of course Brett Richardson.
Hitting. We were one of the better hitting. We talked about coach and how much power we ended up having this year. We didn't see that coming, And then of course track. We had a successful sprinters this year. So you got your sprint coach there, and of course golf first year, former player, won a championship. Yeah.
No easy choices. I'm willing to predict the winner will not have over 35%.
Agreed.
I don't believe the winner will have over 35%. That's just my guess.
Agreed.
Prediction. Okay. Now let's get into the actual head coaches. First, this is a tough category here.
Very.
And I think you'll see why, because these are all high level champion level coaches. Women's sports head coaches of the year: Coach Brittany Bill representing softball, Coach Ellen Wood cross country track, Coach Nikki, Coach Houston representing tennis, and Coach Yilmaz volleyball. Who won last year?
Coach Gordon, basketball, women's basketball.
That's right. Coach Gordon,
42%.
2 years ago, didn't Coach Gokhan win 2 years ago?
Yes.
Okay, so interesting. So we will have.
That's going to be a tight one too.
Yeah. This will be a tight one here.
Yeah. All deserving.
Definitely.
Hell, I don't even know who I go with in this one.
and I think, and I will say, three of the 4 were nominated last year. Ellenwood, Houston, and Yilmaz all nominated a year ago. So, all right, let's get into the men's coaches. Men's coaches this year: James Cosley III representing football. Former coach Patrick Crary representing men's basketball.
He
Coach
probably won't win. I'm just saying,
and Coach Shoup representing baseball. So they're the four coaches. If you had to ask me, I think this might be
we value champion. Yeah,
I think this might be a landslide victory, but who knows? Who won last year? I think it was Coach Simmons won last year, didn't he?
Yes, absolutely. 59.8%.
Yeah, 59 point. I think we could have a similar number where the winner of this might walk away with over half, over a majority of the votes.
It's possible.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we get into the Student Athletes Awards. Let's start with the women's. Woo! Look at this.
It was tough.
9 ladies, female athletes of the year.
They did so
Okay.
well.
Mm-hmm.
So these are in alphabetical order going left to right. Let me get the list here. So that way we can tell you who is who.
Tight.
Top row, left to right, that's Nia Blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then
Track.
to the right, Zoriana Hughes. Okay. Then moving to the right, so that's top row in the middle, that's Reagan Harris. Okay. Then moving to the right of her is Alexandra Kaliva, representing volleyball. And then top row to the far right is Ariana Ladson. Okay.
Track.
So, yep, track. And then on the second row, bottom to the left, Sarah Rakim, tennis. Then moving to the right, Kiana Watson.
Softball.
Mm-hmm. Then moving to the right, Brooke Lynn Watts. Volleyball. And then another tennis player, Genesis Whitlock. So we've got 3 tennis players, 2 volleyball, 2 softball, 2 track and field. Woo! Female athlete of the year. This one is going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Grizzle won it last year with 55% of the vote.
And she was the basketball player
of the year.
Of the year.
Yeah.
This will be tough because we've got the fastest woman in the SWAC.
Yep.
You've got the tennis player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You've got one of the leaders in kills.
Right.
You know,
the
career
leader
kills
in the SWAC.
In the SWAC.
Yep.
You've got Reagan, who was a former SWAC outstanding player in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Ariana Ladson, just a freshman, but was the SWAC outstanding performer. I mean,
outdoor, right?
I mean, what she did on that weekend. Whew, this is a tough category, man. I don't know why Kelvin put 9, but boy, he wanted to make it tough.
It's hard. It's hard to.
I couldn't eliminate. Though. All of them are deserving.
All deserving. Yes. Wow. This is going to be a tough category. Exactly. Right. Maybe this. I don't know if this was Kenya. I don't know if you were talking about this category or the previous one, but yes, I think it's this one. This category is brutal. Exactly. I don't know how you're going to handicap this. Okay, and then the male athletes of the year, we had 6 men. So on the top row, Kirk Dawkins, track, indoor, outdoor champion. Then you had to the right of him, Milton Matthews, who was the SWAC men's basketball newcomer of the year. Then you had Brady Popple, moving to the right, representing baseball, first team all SWAC. We'll be participating in the Swingman Classic next weekend, next Friday. Sasha Robinson, I mean, what an outstanding year he had as a freshman, leading our golf team to a championship. Yeah. Then on the bottom row, second row, to the left is freshman Garrett Workman, freshman of the year, baseball pitcher, all SWAC. And then you had the men's player of the year, Sterling Young, on the second row to the right. Woo.
Yeah. This one probably won't get over 35% either.
35% max.
Yeah.
What do you think the women's category will get? 20, 25?
Ooh.
Yeah. 30 at most.
I don't know how. I don't think anybody's getting 30 in that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be split.
There's gonna be a lot of split votes on that. I wonder, we've never done runoffs in these kind of things, but I don't know. We might have to talk with the executive committee and see, should we do any kind of runoffs on these, but or maybe should we do it? Should we do it? How about this? Should we consider doing a 1, 2, 3? and maybe total points.
No participation trophy.
One vote. So you have to decide one vote, one person. Good God, Kelvin, you're brutal.
Welcome
Marcus,
to the world.
you agree or disagree, Marcus? You might be the deciding vote on this, Marcus.
Yeah, we have to create we have to talk to the panel, see if there's another category. Since a lot of them, well, with the exception of one on the women's side, are returning players.
Are all of them? Well, Sarah, yeah, that's right. Sarah is graduating.
No, I'm saying, well, all of them participated in the sport. Ariana Latson is the only one who's a true freshman, if I remember the category.
Yeah, Bryan. Kenya's right.
No, don't say Bryan. Don't go to Bryan.
No, it's Bryan. It's Bryan.
No, it is not Bryan. No, it's not. No, it's
not. It is Bryan.
It is not me.
He took his picture out.
No, you're lying. You're lying.
Let me go look at that script. I know I put him in there.
I didn't know you were lying. You're lying. Look, I had nothing to do with this, Kenya. I just make the graphics and do the presentation.
You edited my document.
No, I didn't. I did not touch it. Go look at the history. That's the one good thing. You can look at the history. I did not touch that category.
Yeah. Daniel Richardson definitely got to be on there.
See,
no doubt.
Change is already happening, Marcus. See,
no doubt. Well, that's the way we did it last year too.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll do the official. Well, that's why we haven't put the votes out yet. So the official announcements will come out. So we will reconfigure the voting. And the one thing is we'll announce the other categories. Again, the categories that we will present next week will be female sport most memorable moment of the year, male sport memorable moment of the year, the men's team of the year, and the women's team of the year. Look at you. I see you on the back end, Kelvin. You know it.
I don't know why. I don't know why you took that man's name off my sheet, man. You did it. He did it.
Kelvin did it. It's all Kelvin. Yeah, I did take one name off the list.
I know you added it.
That was not the category.
You didn't intend to. You accidentally took that man off the list.
No, I did not. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I did not do that. I did not. You did that.
All right, we got him on now.
Okay. All right. So so next week, make sure to tune in. We'll have the information. But again, I do want to encourage, if anybody would like to be a part of sponsoring the awards, the plaque or awards, contact us, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. And I'm going to repost in the chat room how you can support and be a part. You've seen the advertisements that we run during our show and the other shows in the Black College Sports Network. Your business can be a part of our show, be a part of the Black College Sports Network even. I will post that link in the chat as well, and you can contact us there and show your support and be a part of what it is that we are doing here in the Black College Sports Network and the ONG Strike Zone. All right. Final thoughts from you, Marcus, as we close the show out tonight.
Great show. I think we had some good discussion as it relates to fundraising. We got some probably back-end issues to work out in terms of cohesiveness and planning and logistics. But overall, it's some good news and looking forward to the rest of the summer.
All right, Kelvin, what do you got?
Man, I'm about to get that bug. It's getting close to football season now, man. We in July now, so now I can get a little crunk, a little hype, I'm ready to hear all the lies folks talking, gonna tell about what their team gonna do, and I'm starting to get the bug, so I'm excited, and I already know what the prediction gonna be at the Swac Media Day. I already know
for FAMU.
For for just the first place in the East, first place in the West, it's pretty predictable what they're gonna predict.
All right, we're gonna do that next week. We're gonna do our predictions of where we think. I guess, are we gonna save the actual predictions for later, or we're just gonna do? Let's just do to next week.
I would say season preview, like the week before the season started, because you guys are going to be going to the SWAC. So, I mean, we've focused on our team and maybe a little bit on other teams, but you guys will get a real good feel for the other teams after the media day. So it'll be more informed decision in terms of not just, well, not that we would do it, but we kind of suspect that it's basically going to be like what you mentioned earlier. Just either keeping the same teams or moving a team up. But there's so many rosters in flux now, you don't know who's got what.
Well, I say it's going to be Jackson State in the East, Southern in the West, probably Fairview behind Southern, and all between Fairview, Alcorn behind Southern, and us and Alabama State behind Jackson. That's what the prediction is going to be.
All right, we will discuss more next week on next week's show, and we will have the final listings for the O&G awards next week. Tell you who the nominees and tell you when the voting will open and when the voting will close and when the awards will be announced. And again, want to encourage anybody out there that would like to be a part of this. Your business sponsorship of the trophies or awards or plaques that we send out to the winners. Be a great opportunity to show your support for the show by being a part of that. Hit us up, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. Any way that you'd like to support the show, there's a number of ways you can do it via the Cash App. You can also join the YouTube channel, My JBN Online. Be a part of the JBN subscriber family. Those of you who are, we thank you for your continued monthly support of the network. And last announcement, last plug, go download the BCSN Pod Zone. Everywhere that you listen to podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere that you listen to podcasts, BCSN Pod Zone is where you can find our show and all the other shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network. Again, if you were celebrating the 4th of July on Friday, be safe. Make sure you leave with 10 and you come back with 10. That's hands and feet. And be safe. And hopefully everybody
and don't burn the hot dogs.
Yeah, don't. But well, you want a little crispness on the hot dog.
No, I don't. I don't want no.
You one of those people you don't like the charcoal. See, I don't know about you sometimes.
No,
I don't know about you
sometimes.
No. I want my hot dog like that chair that Marcus is sitting in.
I don't want no crusty hot dog.
It's just the skin. I want a crunchy hot dog. Crunchy hot dog.
Hey, just get you some chips.
We'll do that anyway. All right. Be safe, everybody. Have a great week. And until we see you again next week, this has been the O&G Strike Zone.
Recruit next week. We got to let Marcus do his thing next week.
Okay. There it is. All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks again to Rick Kinsey. Congratulations, Rattlers, on your support of the FAMU Golf Fundraiser. Let's continue to the challenge has been issued. I'm looking for some support and looking to hear from those of you who want to get behind the initiative. And let's continue to raise the level of support for our student athletes. We are a University of Champions on the highest of 7 hills. Good night and God bless everybody. Peace out.
Wow.